Episode 4: The Discovery of Petroleum. Before the mid-1800s, household lighting at night mainly relied on primitive forms of lamps, such as candles made from animal fat or cloth wicks soaked in oil. However, these lighting devices had several drawbacks. They provided weak illumination and produced soot, making the interior of homes dirty. Due to the Industrial Revolution, people were migrating from rural agricultural areas to industrial cities, increasing the demand for effective indoor lighting, even at night. At that time, the best indoor lighting fuel was spermaceti oil from sperm whales. Since it provided excellent illumination, it was in high demand. But due to the limitations on whale hunting, it was rare and expensive. In the 1790s, William Murdoch, a business partner of James Watt and Matthew Boulton, discovered a method to produce coal gas by heating coal in an airtight environment, and devised a way to store and supply it through pipes. By the mid-19th century, coal gas began to replace oil in streetlights, shops, and household lighting. However, coal gas lighting had several drawbacks. It was expensive, highly explosive, toxic, and required gas pipes, meaning that lighting fixtures were fixed to walls or ceilings and could not be moved. In 1854, Abraham Jesner of Canada patented a process for distilling kerosene from mineral oil extracted from resin, which was abundant in eastern Canada. He demonstrated that kerosene was comparable to spermaceti oil for lighting and had many advantages over coal gas. Kerosene was not as explosive as coal gas, burned quietly, and allowed lamps to be moved to any desired location. Unlike coal gas lamps, kerosene did not require expensive gas pipes to supply fuel to the lamps. Kerosene lamps created a sensation at the time. At the height of kerosene lamp demand in 1859, Edwin Drake, an agent for the Seneca Oil Company, discovered that crude oil was seeping to the surface in northwestern Pennsylvania. At the time, crude oil was believed to be a liquid form of coal, which was abundant in the Pennsylvania region. Drake realized that instead of extracting just a few barrels per day from surface, oil seeps, drilling into the ground to produce oil in large quantities, could be highly profitable due to the booming demand for kerosene lamps, which were considered cutting-edge technology at the time. A few wealthy individuals from New Haven, Connecticut, who shared Drake's vision, provided financial support for the project and launched an experimental drilling operation. In August 1859, Edwin Drake and his investors stood before a massive wooden oil derrick on a farm in northwestern Pennsylvania. At the top of the derrick was a device that could wind up a rope-like cable, with an iron rod attached to its end. This method was originally used in China for extracting underground salt, but Drake adapted it for oil drilling. Instead of relying on human power, he used a steam engine to repeatedly lift and drop the iron rod, drilling a hole into the ground. Thus began the world's first oil drilling operation using a derrick. As the work progressed, an investor approached Drake and expressed doubts about whether the drilling method would actually extract oil. Drake confidently reassured the investor, dispelling his concerns. He explained the natural seepage of oil in Pennsylvania and asserted that if a hole was created, the oil would inevitably flow into it. However, He added that the depth at which the oil was buried would determine the success of the venture. A few days later, when the drilling equipment reached approximately 75 feet underground, the anticipated spectacle of oil gushing into the sky did not occur. Instead, oil began to slowly flow out through the pipes. All the barrels on site quickly filled up, and Drake and his investors shared their joy as they realized their historic success. They decided to expand their business to produce even more kerosene. Drake's journey to manufacture kerosene found unexpected support from another industry. During the Industrial Revolution, factories sprang up rapidly everywhere. At the time, various industrial machines were lubricated with lard. But high-speed machinery desperately needed a better alternative. Soon, petroleum-derived mineral oil, a byproduct of refining crude oil, was used as a substitute for lubricants. In 1866, Dr. John O. Ellis, a practicing dentist and physician, introduced Valvoline, the world's first commercially registered lubricant brand. Named Valvoline, later shortened to Valvoline, in reference to its role in ensuring smooth valve operation. The product was marketed as a lubricant and quickly adopted by many factories. Over time, Valvoline became a globally recognized company, gaining prominence in the automotive, marine, and aviation industries. The emergence of the oil industry in the United States laid the foundation for the global industrial revolution and the continuous expansion of settlements across the American continent. After Drake's success in drilling for oil, the oil boom rivaled the gold rush in the United States. Oil wells were established throughout western Pennsylvania, leading to an oversupply of oil. This abundant oil would later meet Gottlieb Wilhelm Daimler and Carl Benz, transforming into its true potential. Meanwhile, to advance global oil development, the Rothschilds, Ludwig and Marcus Samuel, established oil companies in the 1880s. In the 1890s, the Royal Dutch Company was founded to develop oil resources in Indonesia. All of them competed with Standard Oil for dominance in the global oil market. Through this competition, Marcus Samuel's Shell and Royal Dutch grew into globally significant oil giants. Among them, the origin story of Shell in 1887 is particularly unique. At the time, Marcus Samuel was engaged in trade with the East and imported unique seashells, which became a major fashion trend for clothing and accessories. Later, as he began selling Russian kerosene to the Asian market, his oil business expanded rapidly. Marcus Samuel too inherited his father's business and further expanded it. He named his first purchased oil tanker SS Murex after the most popular seashell of the time. Thanks to this name, his fleet became known as the Shell Line. This was in 1891, marking the first use of the name Shell.